If you sit down and listen, science can explain all of this in a reasonable and rational manner.
But you told me that was impossible back in grade school.
Shut the fuck up! Relearn.
Look out for Charlie.
The big change is here. And I mean the big change. And we're going to see this transform everything. I've done videos within the last year on why people are being attacked with weaponized RF. Why people are hearing things that they shouldn't be hearing naturally. I've talked about this extensively. And people continue to ask, why would they do this? Why would they do this? And these are suspicious questions at this point. I just released this video, my last video, and right afterwards, this account comes along and says, why target innocent people? The gotcha question, right? And I decided to look this person up because their subscriptions are public. They've been subscribed to this channel since June 20th, 2021. What these people do is they keep looping the same questions over and over, trying to get us stuck as though we're in 2014. We're not there anymore. But they're hoping. This is an old school tactic. I answered the question. I said, you've been subscribed to this channel since June 20th, 2021. Well over 2 years. Within that time, I've covered why this would be done in multiple videos. Some videos solely dedicated to it. Accounts like yours just keep looping the same 2014 era questions over and over in hopes that people will spin their tires in the mud for eternity. We are way beyond that now. It isn't a question of why, it's a question of figuring out exactly who is doing this. We are no longer stuck there, and these attempts to keep us in the past are over. Stop trying. So you have had well over 2 years to figure that out. And I'm only answering this question because it's fucking comical. And it's true. These accounts that are subscribed will come back, and some of them will ask the same question over and over on the same video, even if it's answered, because it's not for me. It's not for somebody else to answer. It's a gotcha question in hopes that somebody else watching the video will see it and think like that. Maybe somebody on the fence. It's retarded. It is such an old tactic that it's lost its power. It's like calling somebody a Nazi now. It doesn't mean shit. Well, one of those octopus tentacle reasons is for mental health subversion. By subverting the mental health statistics, you subvert the entire medical industry. You subvert the pharmaceutical industry. Then in turn you subvert laws. Then you subvert people's rights. But we've passed that now, and I'm going to get into that. First, I want to tell you a story. Years ago, I was sitting in a bar, having a drink, and this woman came in, looked pretty frazzled. She came right up to me, sat down next to me, and began talking about how George Bush was talking in her ear. And she had just gotten out of this local hospital down the road, was walking home, I guess, or walking around. Maybe she didn't have a home at the time, didn't have anywhere to go, I don't know. She was talking about George Bush and these other people talking in her ear. And I was just bummed out by it. Like, get the fuck away from me. You're bumming out my buzz, basically. You know, I was a kid. I was a lot younger, and I didn't give a shit. And looking back on that now, I feel terrible because she was clearly dealing with weaponized RF, and she was sensitized to it and was hearing this, right? There was nothing I could do about it, but had I known, I could have explained to her what it was. Now I know what it is. And this was driving her insane. Who knows what happened to her? But this story ties into what I'm going to get into. Coincidentally, when I began investigating this and recording the signal and recording the audio, I actually got a Morse code signal that spelled out that very hospital. Coincidentally. And this is a true story. Within that signal, I picked up a Morse code message that said that hospital and the city it was in. I'll play it for you. It says, Henry Ford Wyandotte. Pretty interesting. You wonder why that's there, what that's doing there. Now, I have to remind people that that was recorded with a microphone, a recorder. That wasn't an antenna that picked up some signal. That was a recorder picking that up out of thin air within this mechanical signal that is creating the hum and the voice of God phenomena. And that was within that, beeping along. But here's where it gets scary, terrifying and scary. Because not only can the mental health industry be subverted, the mental health statistics, the pharmaceutical industry interacting with mental health, now they could actually torture you until you want to kill yourself, and then you can legally kill yourself. Check this out.
Are these new laws around assisted dying what they call euphemistically made?
Next March, the legislation will not have mental illness or mental health disorders as a restriction. If a person's only reason for seeking assisted death is that they have a severe and incurable mental health disorder, then they can consider their application considered to be assessed.
They are literally going to take incurable mental health into consideration for assisted suicide. Think about the implications of this, considering that all of these mental health illnesses are being caused by external sources. So somebody is sensitized to voice of God weapons. They will continue to hit them year after year until the quality of their life is completely destroyed, until the person doesn't want to exist anymore, torture them to the point where they want to die, and then they are legally going to kill them because the person doesn't want to live anymore, believing that there's something wrong with their frontal lobe. Really believing this fucking hocus pocus that they made up, as if you have a conjoined twin in your brain that is carrying on conversations with you all the time, 24 hours a day. This is absolute bullshit. It's insanity, but it's absolute bullshit. And it amazes me that anybody even believes this shit. And when you go over the things that people are told in their melons all the time, it blows my mind that these people out there actually believe this shit. I have proven that this weapon exists, and if it is physically there, if the voice is physically there, and if that person can hear it, a mechanical vibration, they are no longer mentally ill. But these people are going to start killing people for it, and that's what's going on. You create horrible bipolar with ELF, where the person is just anxiety ridden, ups and downs, and tweaked out, doesn't want to live anymore. Cool. Get rid of you. That is what they are doing now. Let's hear it again.
Next March, the legislation will not have mental illness or mental health disorders as a restriction. If a person's only reason for seeking assisted death is that they have a severe and incurable mental health disorder, then they can consider their application considered to be assessed.
Pay attention to the fact that she said incurable. All mental health, quote-unquote, conditions are considered incurable. There's treatment, but they're all considered incurable, and they only mask the symptoms with medication. Create the problem, create the solution, sell it to you for the rest of your life. It's just like cancer or anything else. There's money in treatment. All of these fraudulent mental health conditions by this whack job psychiatric industry are all incurable. And now they're going to kill you with something that they have created. They're going to drive these people till they don't want to live anymore and then take them out. So now there is euthanasia and eugenics at work at every corner. Every corner. So now, if somebody asks me, why would they do this? This is why they would do it. This is why they've been doing it all along, for shit like this. So that everybody can have a psychiatric diagnosis, right? And then when the hammer comes down, in America anyway, everybody who has a psychiatric diagnosis will not be able to own a firearm. Because now, anybody with depression can hear voices. If you're tired, you can hear voices. If you're stressed out, you can hear voices, man. You know, and people believe this bullshit. They come to this channel and leave comments. One of them said, normal people can have psychotic breaks at any time. That is known, well known. No, you're just a brainwashed fucking idiot. Can't happen, doesn't happen in nature. It can be caused by external sources. People need to wake up to what's going on. This is where it's leading. They are going to drive masses of people to the point where they don't want to live anymore. And then it's your choice. So the burden is off them. You're killing yourself because you can't take it anymore. And you made the choice to do it. The government just assisted. Think about this. Think about where this is going. because all of these diseases and conditions and syndromes and DSM fairy tales are created externally. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my older videos. I have devised a way to pick this up clearly, to prove that these signals exist everywhere and are driving people crazy. In this clip, you're going to hear a voice come in and say, "You killed my wife." This is an example of it. Just one example of the thousands that are on this channel. Check it out. You killed my wife. Now that's a physical signal, a vibration, not a radio signal. That is a physical vibration. And if somebody hears that, they are no longer mentally ill. And this is the shit recorded that these people hear all the time. So you crank it up, these people are hearing it because they're sensitized to it. And it's everywhere, all the time. Just the other day, I had a meeting over my dad's house because he passed away. While we were having that meeting, I recorded it. As I went over the audio of the meeting to make sure that it was recorded, I could hear this stuff chattering on. Now, this wasn't directed at me or anybody in the room. It is just there. So this was a recording as I was getting the mic ready for the business meeting. I'm not even looking for this. I'm doing an audio recording, and there's a female voice talking in the room that wasn't even there. Check it out. It's like they're watching, or they want you, or something paranoid sounding, right? It's everywhere. These aren't ghosts and ghouls. It's not EVP. It's not electronic voice phenomenon. It is a mental illness causer. And then these people are driven insane, and then they don't want to live anymore, and then now they can kill themselves because of it. Pretty brilliant, huh? What they are failing to tell the masses, and even the people that have the alleged illnesses in their brain, is that 99% of these people out there that are suffering from this kind of stuff have other symptoms that prove that what they are dealing with is not a natural illness. They have artificial tinnitus being created. They feel vibrations. They feel pulsing and other symptoms in their body that has nothing to do with mental illness, and they hide all this shit. Or they blame it on side effects of the medication that they're taking, even though the symptoms were there long before they started taking medication. This is a cover-up from start to finish. And now they are going to get people to kill themselves because of what they are doing to people out there. Wake up. Look out for Charlie.
I don't like the world now. I mean, before I always knew I was a son of a bitch. But now I'm the only son of a bitch I know. Hey, make way for a real human being. Get out of the way, yeah.
Look out for Charlie.
I want that son of a bitch dead. I want him dead.